Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another movie episode of Games My Mom Found. Maybe I should talk really slow and deliberately like everything else in the movie that we're about to discuss. And I'm not going to do that. And who has their eyes wide open with me tonight?
I am Phoebe Stanton, and I wish my eyes were shut for this movie.
I am Bill Tucker from A Gamer Looks at 40, and I was going to talk real slow as well, but I'll save the audience their ears and just say hi.
I'm Zach from Absolutely the Best Podcast, A Work in Progress, and no means no. If a woman tells you no, she means no. Take no for an answer, you creep.
Yes,
Zach, will you redeem me?
We're already covering all my issues with this movie. Also, Phoebe, you did steal what I had for my original was going to be, I wish I'd kept my eyes shut for this movie. Wide shut.
Hey, even if you didn't enjoy this movie, at least now you can say that you've seen another Kubrick film.
Yeah.
I guess.
And now
I'll
we
put
are
it on my
3
resume.
for 4.
So, I mean, that's how I look at any new movie that I watch for this podcast in general. I'm always like, hey, I got to watch something I haven't seen before. And even if I didn't like it, at least now I know I get the references. That's always been my brain, how it works. So we are here to talk about Eyes Wide Shut, directed and screenplay by Stanley Kubrick and screenplay also by Frederick Raphael, based on a book called Dream Story from 1926, sort of, a novella written by Arthur Swinster. I know I said that wrong.
Yeah.
It's good enough.
I didn't know that.
This wonderful thing in the early 20th century where we had like 3 extremely good books about debauchery and opening up to your true self and all this interesting sexual exploitation. We had this, we had the story of O, and we had 120 Days of Sodom. And sadly, this got turned into a movie.
To be fair, this is the 4th version of that book in a movie.
Really?
Yeah,
What were
finding that out
what were
was
the other
even
3?
more surprising.
Italian. One was Italian. They were all just random. I don't remember what they were. None of them were American stuff, and they were all lower budget like stuff. But yeah, there's like 4 different versions of this movie or of this book based. Yeah,
I wonder if I've seen one.
probably not. I'll find them and post them in the chat while we're talking. But this came out in 1999, distributed by Warner Brothers. So I always start these off with our history. I have never seen this movie before, but I have been interested to watch it for years. This movie has been one of the ones like, I should sit down and watch that one day. And it just never happened. And then I saw a list that said this is technically a Christmas. I mean, I made a Patreon poll, which is what this one, movies that take place during Christmas that aren't Christmas movies.
Which is accurate. That's about right.
We'll get to that.
I would say that this is a Christmas movie.
I would say that this is definitely a Yule movie, especially during the later part of it. Not a Christmas, a Yule movie.
Can you expand on that?
I truly believe that the secret organization, the fact that they're always doing their rituals and stuff during Christmas and always wearing the masks, is a very pagan to Celtic style cult, which makes it a Yule festival.
Okay, I didn't pick up that it was only during that time of year, but I will take your word for it.
You can watch it a second time and see what you think.
Go for
No, I'll take your word for it. I'm good.
So that's my history. I've never watched it before until this week. And I already came into it with a negative aspect because someone's like, this is going in the box. And it's like, oh no, if he doesn't like it, it might not be good. And my opinion is strange. So I'll leave it there. That's my history. What about you, Phoebe?
None. I have no history with this movie, which is insane, both as a Kubrick fan and a fan of other things that are talked about in this movie.
You want to elaborate on that?
No.
Okay.
This is not Games from All Found After Dark.
Oh, you'll be hearing about plenty of things. I got a few disclaimers I have to read once we get done with their memories.
I have been to events. I have met people. I know people who would totally do some of these things. But even then, no, never seen this movie. Which sucks as a Kubrick fan, but now that I've seen it, sucks as a Kubrick fan.
Bill.
Yeah, I've seen this movie before I should say a number of times. I'm a huge Kubrick fan. I would probably rank him in my top 3 directors. So I've seen all of his movies multiple times. This is probably one of the ones, though, I've seen the least because I just, again, get it out of the way. I like this quite a bit for all the reasons that most people like Kubrick movies in its construction and its how it's shot. I do say that Kubrick is one of my favorite directors with a giant asterisk, which we'll talk about, obviously, I think, throughout this conversation. but I've seen this before. I did not see it in theaters. I was only like 19 when this came out. I was just kind of starting my film explorations. I own the first time they came out with a Stanley Kubrick box set of all of his movies. I bought it. And this was one of the ones that was, of course, included in that. And that's the first time I saw it. And I like this as a strange experiment from a visionary director who makes movies unlike anybody on this planet has or ever will. And there's a lot to like in this. There's a lot to dislike in this. Obviously, we'll probably talk about it. But I appreciate this quite a bit, and I'm glad I got to see it again. Even though it's a hard watch at many, many different points.
And Zach.
First, I need to nitpick Bill, and I apologize in advance, but this is how my brain works. And I looked into this the other day because I heard somebody else on a podcast say asterisk. And I was like, what? I was like, it's asterisk, isn't it? And I looked into it, and it is asterisk.
Asterisk.
Asterisk. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I've always said asterisk. Oh yeah, asterisk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh. I will try to deprogram myself after 40
I figured you would be accepting of it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good with that correction. Asterisk. Right? Asterisk.
Yeah.
Asterisk.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I will work on that. I will.
All right.
My wife will be very annoyed at me.
You.
I will work. I'll be like, I'm going to do that all day. My wife's like, what are you saying asterisk for?
Walk around the house saying asterisk, asterisk.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, you watching Kubrick again, Bill? That's what's happening? Because clearly you're not okay. I mean, blink twice.
So,
Thank you, sir.
Back on topic. Sorry for derailing the show for a second. But I never saw this movie before. I wouldn't say I'm a Kubrick fan per se, because I don't think I've seen that many of his films. Like I did not like Clockwork Orange. I made it through most of that movie, and then finally was just like, I can't keep going. And I don't like this movie. Spoiler alert. But The Shining is great. Full Metal Jacket is, I like it, but the second half of that is kind of rough. And I am a huge fan of 2001. That is one of my all-time favorite movies. So I definitely like some of his works, not all of them. And this one I just never watched before. It just didn't seem interesting to me. And I feel like Phoebe agrees with me that I was kind of right on that, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I have other issues. I have other issues with it. And on top of that, like Tom Cruise movies, I have mixed feelings on as well. I feel like he can be really annoying. He was good in this. For the most part, he was not the problem that I had with the movie. But sometimes I don't know what it is about him. I just don't like his face. I love him in the first Jack Reacher movie. Great movie. He's awesome in that. Great in Edge of Tomorrow. But he just seems kind of annoying in a lot of other movies. And I don't know. He's just like fake happy when I see him.
His face in this movie, you need to watch Vanilla Sky.
Oh, I don't like that movie. That movie made me uncomfortable. Not as uncomfortable as this one.
Never seen it, actually.
But anyways, so this one I watched it as the good Lord intended on Tubi for free with commercials while doing work.
Yeah, that was the
fun
right
way.
Was watching this with ads and somehow a 2.5-hour movie, which should have been a 1-hour movie, turned into a 3-hour movie.
Yeah, I had to plunk down to $4. I was not going to watch this with ads. There was no way. And I could have unearthed my DVD player, but this is not the one I watch in public, in the house. My wife had no interest in watching this with me. And the last thing I need is my son wandering downstairs to get a glass of water.
That's the fun part, is that I live in a small apartment with only like one bedroom. And one room has the smart TVs. And we have the kid currently. So whatever he wakes up to is whatever he wakes up to. But he's seen Hellraiser at this point. He's already fucked for life.
Lovely.
I can't control that. Now, what's interesting is
there's nothing you could have done.
I kind of agree on Zach with a lot of the stuff in this movie, because I've only seen 3 Kubrick movies up to this point. I've seen The Shining, thanks to Mike. I've seen 2001: A Space Odyssey, and I've seen Full Metal Jacket. And I'm not going to disagree with Zach. 2001: A Space Odyssey is a fucking fantastic masterpiece of a film. But there are some shots of that film, like when they're docking with the space station, that I think you need to hit fast forward twice and have it at 4 times speed. And that's what the entirety of this movie felt like.
I like that scene in 2001.
I do too.
It's mesmerizing to me.
We're doing that movie.
But I agree with you on this one.
It's super artsy and it's brilliant. Do not get me wrong, but am I wrong to think that there were parts of this movie that felt more like a play being caught on film than a movie?
No, you're not wrong at all.
I'd agree with that.
You're not wrong in the slightest. This is a very different type of movie. Since we all kind of said it, I should say my Kubrick history isn't much. The Shining, 2001: A Space Odyssey, I've seen twice or three times in my life. Shining twice. This once. I tried Clockwork Orange once because somebody borrowed it to me. I got maybe half an hour, 45 minutes ago. I said, I'm out. But that was like 15 years ago, Mike. So
Yeah,
I
we should go back to
really
that.
want
That'd
to,
be
like,
interesting.
after watching this, I mean, I'm going to say it now, so I have to do it. My plan is in February to do a Stanley Kubrick poll for movies that we haven't done yet, so people can choose. But I'm actually going to. I think I want to in 2026 dig into some more of his work.
I'll come in for all of them. I would really like to watch Doctor Strangelove or Clockwork Orange at some point, especially as somebody who has tried reading the original novel for Clockwork Orange.
I had no interest in Strangelove until
it's my
somebody
favorite
told
movie.
me. Yeah,
I
someone told
have
me it was
been
their favorite movie to chat yesterday. I'm like,
Bill,
oh.
you are now the second person I know who says that's their favorite movie.
It's one of those where when people say, "Oh, what's your favorite movie?" I default to Doctor Strangelove because it's perfect satire. Satire for me is one of the most challenging things to do in any movie, film, movie, art. Any art, satire is really hard because you have to strike a delicate balance, and Doctor Strangelove strikes that. Clockwork Orange is. I've done term papers on Clockwork Orange. I've read the original multiple times. I've done a lot of study on Clockwork Orange. I was really into it when I was, edgelord high schooler / college student. So I've seen that movie probably a dozen times. I've tried to watch it recently, and with my older sensibilities, it's really challenging. Last time I tried to watch it, I couldn't get through it either, which bums me out because it is one of the most meticulously crafted movies ever made. It's so carefully made, but it's so brutal and so challenging. It's a tough watch. So the last time I tried to watch it, I couldn't get through it. And it was my, again, time and place, one of those situations. But that's another one I've seen. Again, I've seen all of his movies multiple times, even the ones no one cares about, like The Killing. If you want to watch a fantastic Kubrick movie, that's probably top 3 or 4 for me. Paths of Glory is one of his first ones. It's black and white. It is wonderful. It is so good, and not enough people have seen Paths of Glory. So that's definitely one you should check out.
Oh, I want to watch his entire filmography now.
Yeah.
And of course record about it. Because I wouldn't when I do finally make myself watch Clockwork Orange, that's the kind of movie, this is another movie that had I not been doing this for a show where I felt indebted to watch it, I would have got up and walked away at some point. But when I watched this movie, I watched this entire movie in pieces, unfortunately, because I was at work also. So I would put it on, watch 10 minutes. Oh, gotta go do stuff, pause it. Okay, go back to it. And then I did it while I was editing. So I had it on my phone when I was watching it, and I'm editing. And for me, that was the right way for me to watch this movie, because then I wasn't paying full attention and I wasn't bored. Because if I was sitting here just putting this movie on by myself, sitting in a room, and it's all I was doing, I'd be bored as fuck.
I hope you factor that into your
I do.
box, shelf, or stack.
I mean, but when I watched videos about this movie, I want to now rewatch this movie with the understanding of what is going on in this movie and what they are trying to say. This is more of a art piece than a film to be enjoyed.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And this is an experience, and it's one of those where, again, if you watch it again, Mike, I would highly recommend watching it in its entirety without taking breaks, because
I want to. I'll be editing. I want to. Yes.
Once it kind of puts you under its spell, much like most of the things that Kubrick does, it puts you under a spell. And then 2001 is a perfect example of that. Again, this is not on the level of 2001. 2001 is one of the most culturally important movies ever made, right?
Right,
but not on the level of that, of course. But his movies, as I said in the open, nobody else on this planet can make a Kubrick movie. They're completely unique in their
We had
design
somebody
and function.
try.
We've had some people try.
Well, okay, so if memory serves, AI Artificial Intelligence, the 2001 movie with Haley Joel Osment, was
that
written
is
by
kind
Kubrick,
of.
but it is directed by Spielberg.
That's why. Yeah, that's why it seems. I was like, that does seem kind of like Kubrickian, but I forgot.
It was Spielberg trying to make a final gift to his friend before / during his death.
Yeah, Kubrick was supposed to direct that, and Steven Spielberg was supposed to produce it. Of course, after Stanley Kubrick died about 6 days after this was completed, and he passed away 6 days later after Eyes Wide Shut was completed. Some final color correction and some very minor editing was done. after the fact in post-production. Some very minor things were done. People complained that no one should have touched it after he had passed. From what I understand, the changes were minor, and they wanted to do AI before they did this movie, but the technology was never there, so they kept just delaying it to the point where, if memory serves, and again, my Stanley Kubrick lore, I have not read up on it in a while. There was Steven Spielberg and Stanley Kubrick had a private telephone line connected between their homes so they could talk about AI and how to make this movie. So when Stanley Kubrick died, Steven Spielberg was like, I am making AI. And as a matter of fact, the ending of AI, which I don't love, and I like that movie. Okay. I think it's an interesting experiment.
Not bad. Yeah.
The movie was supposed to end with the AI underneath the water forever. That was the Stanley Kubrick ending, but Steven Spielberg needed to Spielberg it up a little bit and give it a little more hope, which is why you have that extra like 20 minutes of him finding his mom and the whole thing. But it was supposed to end in a very Kubrick way with this, just you panning out with little Haley Joel Osment, whatever his name is, underneath the water for eternity, pining for his mom. Yes, that was how it was supposed to end.
Total aside, but I remember when AI artificial intelligence came out, because it ran alongside Tomb Raider as a double feature at the local drive-in theater.
That's just insane.
Which still exists in Massachusetts. If you look up Mendon Drive-In Theater, that thing is still standing and still runs movies, double features all the time. So the fact that I remember that movie, but not this,
that's wild.
That's a sign.
That's a tonal shift. That will shatter your transmission. That would open a portal to someplace.
I remember
I can't imagine that
ran that with artificial intelligence, and I was 10.
Yikes. So yeah, so Kubrick makes movies that are meant to be, I don't want to say enjoyed, but appreciated more than they usually are enjoyed. And this movie has, again, if you're a film dork, just the use of natural light and his shot selection. I mean, the opening 2 minutes of this movie is so good, so ridiculously good. I think, at least, it really paints this picture of a married couple, 10 years in, now they're parents, they have a 7-year-old daughter, and it kind of captures the ennui of a long-term relationship where the magic is gone, the spark is gone, and now they're looking for other things rather than continuing to date each other and realize that they are now different people than they were when they first were married. They're all starting to kind of glance over their shoulders to other things to initiate that spark. The scene of Tom Cruise getting ready for the big party and Nicole Kidman on the toilet while he's getting married, while he's getting ready. That is such a married thing.
Yes,
that is such a symbol of old love and or complacency, depending on where you're at with that. That's a sign of shattering boundaries, where they no longer have boundaries anymore, and you need boundaries in relationships, regardless how long you're together. Like that opening scene says so
shattered that
much.
Boundary early on.
It's one of those things where it's I love the opening of this. The party is uncomfortable and strange.
Yeah.
And
wasn't that uncomfortable for me?
Everything is uncomfortable. And so if you're signing up for this movie and you haven't seen it, just sign up for 2.5 hours of uncomfortable. And that's
okay. So
you just got to live in that world. Yeah.
I do have a plot summary too, actually.
Ooh.
Okay, do this.
I wrote one for this ahead of time. I mean, that's how much strange got into this movie. Bill is going to have a really strange Christmas where everyone wants to fuck Tom Cruise Bill. Here we see Bill get caught up in a cult of very rich people having weird sex as a cult. What a shocker. Why are the Lost Illuminados here? Is this all a dream or is this real? And is having a fantasy cheating? These are questions that no one answers in this weird ass movie.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing gets answered.
Nothing gets answered. No.
So
No.
I know Bill and Mike will get the reference. Zach, have you ever seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Yes.
This movie felt like the entirety of the song Rose Tip My World, which is my favorite song from that musical, because it is all about how each character goes through their sexual awakening and realizes things about themselves that they never knew before. I think that song does it better in 3 minutes than this movie does in 2.5 hours.
Again,
something Bill said before about the ennui. That was the word I was looking for, because my first note, other than of course this is a Christmas movie, was that I would hate to have to live like that. Like all the phoniness and the kissing the cheeks and like Tom Cruise's stupid laughing face while he's schmoozing with people, like all that I hate. And like, there's nothing to it. It's this emptiness. And like, it's that ennui. I took it as like the ennui from that lifestyle, not the ennui from them having, from their marriage being stale.
Yeah, because it feels clear, at least during points of this movie, like when she's talking about her dream, that he still loves her. And he's almost blaming it on her. Like guys are one way and girls like another way and evolution and blah, 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 blah.
I think that scene has so much more meaning than what it feels like.
Is
at
it him
first.
trying to cope with the fact that he's not in love with her anymore, but he's trying to say that he is?
I take it as he's a fucking dumbass, but I will elaborate more.
He's got his eyes wide shut.
God damn it.
Is one, that is a mentality of men, certain men, especially, I would say, we're going to say men in their 70s, currently in their 70s, would have that had that mindset. And the reason I say that, because my fucking father has made that same exact comment to me when I was younger. So a little bit different, but same meaning. All women don't just want, need it for security, because that's, I mean, I don't know what he thinks now. This was fucking 30 years ago, 20-some years ago. But it stuck with me. I don't believe it. And the fact that it's in this movie, because it's how he thinks. And when he says it, he means it to be like, oh, you see, wife, this is why I trust you. He doesn't understand how he's making her not matter. And like this whole movie is about I didn't understand it during the watching. It wasn't until later. Like, because you keep seeing scenes of her having sex with this guy in a military uniform. And I'm like, okay, did he catch her on having an affair on camera? Like, what is going on here? Was he into that?
I think he's
just dreaming.
Yeah, he's it's not a fantasy because he doesn't like it, but he can't get that. He's like obsessed with the idea that she wanted to bang that dude.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Is that she said, I would have left you in a heartbeat if he had just said something to me. And that won't leave his brain. It's the earworm throughout the entire movie.
But I think it also has more meaning to it, of the idea that this man is so stuck up, but also this probably fits a lot of powerful rich men that would, let's say at this time, that had that idea. I mean, you look at the conservative movement in this country at times, and that's what they want. They're like, no, we want the women not to have any rights, so they have no choice. We can be a complete dick, and they can't go anywhere. Like, that's that same mentality, I feel like, is what they're portraying here. Like I said, I got a lot of, there's a lot to this movie that I'm going to say it again, but this movie isn't like a movie. It's meant as an art piece to kind of reflect on the filthy rich and to reflect on how we hide things, but also the idea of how much of this movie is real, how much is him hallucinating. You never really know.
No, I think it's 100% real.
Yeah,
I do too.
Same.
But you're not supposed to know. But also the fact that he got so upset that she had a fantasy about another man, that he was about to go sleep with 2 different women throughout this movie, or 3 different women.
We never get a confirmation on what he was going to do. And that's the thing, because throughout the movie, he keeps pushing all of these other things aside. Damn it, you're making me want to watch this a second time.
Yeah,
you have to do it while you edit, okay? You can't do it as a focus thing. You have to do it as a background thing.
I disagree. I disagree. I think you need to. You have to. This is a tough one, but this is a tough one because there's a lot of stuff you can still fast forward through, because you can still get your finger on that fast forward button and zip through some of the other things. The things you really want to dine on are the performances and the monologues, and when Nicole Kidman's talking about her dream, and the first time she presents the idea of the naval officer, she's high as a kite, so she's kind of just recollecting about, and she's literally trying to piss him off. Like, she's trying to upset her husband because
that plot has made you angry.
And she's got an angry high going, and because she just wants to feel something. She just wants to feel something. And
because of that lifestyle.
And it's that lifestyle is the more you have, the less you need. And that's, I think, a big theme of this as well. You have these, like you said, Zach, that party seems just like the most nightmarish. That's the nightmare. Worse than the castle. Just sitting there and just my protect and people just banality, just saying, so hey, I'm gonna hang your coat up. Oh, stop!
Oh my
I don't
God,
want
Nick
to.
and the Hungarian and these two models. Oh,
Yeah, it's a very The idea of the more you have, the less you need, including each other, is a very real theme here. And both people are just Tom Cruise's character, for me, portrays the guy who is just satisfied with everything he has, and Nicole Kidman is unsatisfied despite everything she has. She still yearns for more. She still yearns for connection, spark, something outside of the banality of married upper crust parenthood, right? It's two people, neither of which are right, but neither of which are they're not working under the right circumstances either. So neither of them are right. She shouldn't be antagonizing her husband, talking about some fantasy she had just to piss him off. And he has to also realize that she probably wants something more, right? And they really need therapy. They need couples counseling. That's the end of this movie. Should be, hey, let's go see a therapist and talk these things through.
Tells them exactly what they need to do.
Well, that's exactly what they want to do, because that's the only option they have. Because they don't have a relationship that's built on communication and trust and honesty and actual intimacy. No, they have a relationship that's built off of bank accounts and duty. And what else you got if you got nothing else? That's the only solution that they have. And guess what? Fast forward, it ain't gonna do. It's not gonna help. This couple is doomed.
According to this world, it fixes everything.
Well, that's
I would say no.
I would agree.
I
think that's why Kubrick's trying to
tell you.
I know it's not a great line. It's not a great ending. I don't like it either. I agree.
It's just like, it's kind of like, well, could all this have been avoided if they just banged more often? Is that what the problem was?
No.
I would say part of the problem is, one, like it's even referenced in this movie, she doesn't have a job anymore. So it's also the idea that she's just a housewife and she's not satisfied with that type of life, which I don't think is a satisfying version of life. I wouldn't want to be stuck at home all the time in general I am, but if I didn't work, I hate it. I hate being unemployed.
Like a curator at a museum or an art exhibit.
She was, yes. She tells the Hungarian guy that who's trying to fuck her, but I don't blame him. Nicole Kidman in this movie is fucking beautiful. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. I don't blame him one bit.
Scenes that she's in, she just eats the scenery.
She
fucking gorgeous. I don't like her normally, so.
She's sensational in this, and that's what makes me, not to get on a Kubrick rant, but I'm going to have to do that at some point. He is very famous for being garbage to his actors. Y'all talked about it during the Shining episode, how he treated Shelley Duvall. He is very famous for, and a lot of directors do this, especially auteur directors. He's very famous for making actors do multiple takes. The one scene where Tom Cruise is talking with the rich friend who had the party at the very end when they're around the pool table, he had Tom Cruise film the walking into that pool area 90 something times, like 90 takes. Like they signed up for the movie thinking it would be a 3-month shoot, and it took over a year of nonstop photography.
90 shots of
90 shots
talking to Dr. Ziegler.
Yes, 90 shots.
Insane.
Just not talking to him, just walking through the door. And Kubrick is well known, and a lot of directors do this. David Fincher in The Social Network is famous for that opening scene when Jesse Eisenberg and whoever else, his girlfriend, they shot that 99 times. And every time Jesse Eisenberg said to David Fincher, "Hey, what do you want me to do?" He's like, "Just do less." That was his direction.
Yep.
That is mind-boggling, first of all, that David Fincher did The Social Network. That should have been obvious to me as somebody who loves the game and Fight Club. But, man, is it better or worse than Hitchcock letting real birds onto the set?
It's a very it's a very Hitchcock. Yeah, like knowing that your lead actress is terrified of birds and then using real birds in your movie called The Birds. Yes. So I have a hard time with directors who do that, because that's now crossing a line to emotional manipulation.
Yes.
And that's film school stuff. That's like film student crap. If you're a director of actors are not your lenses. Like, you can spend all day fiddling with your lenses and getting the light just right and farting around with your framing. but actors are human beings, and I loathe when I hear stories of directors emotionally manipulating their actors to get performances instead of just using your mouth and telling them what to do. Directors should be telling their actors what to do. And when you have actors that are good, Tom Cruise, like him or hate him, he is a studied good actor. He's done great work. Nicole Kidman has done great work in the past. They are actors who can be directed, and it's really crappy. That's why I say I like Kubrick as a visual artist who makes movies that nobody else on this planet can make. I love him, but boy, oh boy, I hate the way he treats his actors and the way that he doesn't communicate. It's really, really crappy. Which is might be why Ken doesn't like Kubrick too. I could see Ken having
he does not like him.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's the reason. And if that's the reason, Ken, I am right alongside with you. I love Kubrick with a huge asterisk because he is such garbage to his actors. And he treats, like I said, he treats his actors like they're lenses. And you can't do that with human beings. Directors need to communicate. That's why you're a director. So it's irksome to me. So, but you do get these great performances, like that monologue when when Nicole Kidman's talking about the dream she had. That is heartbreaking because she's admitting, and he's turning the screws. Like, again, if he had any emotional intelligence, he'd just say, "Hun, it's okay. You don't have to share the dream. It's all right. I can tell you're upset," and just comfort her and be there. But no, he has to turn the screws because he needs a reason to do his dirty stuff on the side. So he wants to know because it's going to bruise his ego. It's
he
heartbreaking.
never actually ends up doing anything, despite the fact that we see he has multiple tests to his will.
Yes,
but it depends on how you look at it. I mean, some people would see as going into the hooker's house, sitting on her bed, giving her the money is cheating in itself. I know women who would, but yeah, he cheated 100%. Do I believe that? No, because he didn't commit the act. I do believe he needs therapy, just like Bill said, because the fact that you went that far and you're like, the only reason you stopped is because your wife called you and you didn't have a good excuse to be like, yeah.
And thank goodness he didn't stick anything in there because it turned out she was HIV positive.
So I ask this question in real life all the time to people because I know people that apparently don't know this. Condoms are a thing, people in movies and real people. Like, my God. That's what I'm thinking. Like, I think to myself, wait, you have a condom. Technically, you'd be safe because it wouldn't. Yeah, but I'm like, what the fuck?
I didn't really understand that reveal because he didn't do anything with her. And also, I mean, how do we know she was like that? Her friend there, her roommate, whatever, could have just been lying just to mess with him.
We don't know.
That's true. I think I guess. Yeah.
The idea is supposed to be that by him not making the bad decision, he dodged a bullet, is essentially what I think the movie is trying to say in that small scene.
Yeah.
That by him being faithful, he saved his life. I mean, it's...
Yeah, but then he gets the second test, and oh man, that second test, the costume store, that was rough.
Okay. Before we talk about that, I need to put my disclosure in, or not disclosure, warning. So we are going to talk about sexual assault, most likely coming up here now. We're getting deeper in this movie. We're going to talk about a little bit about pimping out your daughter who's underage, pedophilia right there, because that's what I'm about to mention. So you've been warned. All right. I don't think there's anything else I need to say exactly.
Yeah, but before we get to there, I do want to address real quick the Tom Cruise character and his constant toe dipping. His battle between his sense of right and wrong and his fleshly desires, to use a really gross term. So I heard this once, I'm probably going to misquote this, but a lot of people feel that infidelity is a line when it's really a direction. And there is such a thing as emotional infidelity as well. You know, if you're getting your emotional needs met by somebody that's not your partner, that can be, even though it's not physical, that's also a sign of problems. Like if you're getting... Yeah, that is a big sign of problem. So Tom Cruise is constantly dipping his toe. He's in a direction. He's in a, he never actually engages with sex with somebody that's not his wife, but he's being dishonest. He's lying. He is already he's not being forthcoming, and he's dipping his toe in, and he doesn't see it because he sees infidelity as a line. Well, I didn't cross the line, so I am better than my wife, who didn't cross a line, who's just having dreams and thoughts about it.
Dreams of other men,
and who's being honest. But she's also being honest with him. And her emotional scene when she's sharing this dream and genuinely just racked about it. She's so guilty for it, instead of being emotionally intelligent and saying, but it was a dream. Hey, listen, let's talk about it. He takes it as a personal attack and he says, okay, this means I can actually do it. And when he meets the Domino is the name of the prostitute, when he meets her roommate, he's ready to rock. Like he is now gotten full license in his mind. Hey, I'm now allowed to get some strange because this is where my wife is having these thoughts. And that is he's dipped his toe one too many times and now he's ready to dive in the pool. And the only thing that stops him from diving into the pool is this realization that, oh yeah, she has HIV, and now he's brought back to reality. You know, the fantasy is shattered. Someone he was kind to and nice to, kind of sort of, is now struggling with something, brings him back into this reality. But I think what Kubrick's trying to stay here is this idea of emotional infidelity as not just physical, because Tom Cruise in this movie is 100% cheating emotionally on his wife for sure.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah. Anyway, so I just wanted to address that part. And well, he's working with limited information. Like they need to just talk. Like the number one killer of relationships and marriages is just stop talking. When you stop communicating and you assume the worst in the other person, those are two nails in the coffin. Like that's hard to come back from without help, without therapy, without counseling, without work, right? And again, these people who have limitless means. I mean, my man blows $1,000 in that night just in keeping, in costumes and late night this and keep the taxi here. Well, yeah,
you're probably right. I didn't think about that, but yeah, you're right. It's like
he blows like $1,000 in $1999, which is probably like $2,000 nowadays. So
more,
yeah, probably more. So he blows it and is in his pocket, which means he's just running around with just like $1,000 in his pocket because why not? That's
New York is the safest city, right?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. And of course, I looked at that apartment that they're in. I'm like, geez, Louise, that apartment.
Okay.
Oh,
he is the only person working, and I don't know the average how much a doctor makes.
Okay,
but
I need to stop you.
The movie Ziegler's apartment. What the?
Phoebe, this is not a regular doctor. One of his
I noticed
is one of the fucking like richest men in the country. Let's say like this guy is higher up than he's making bank.
Well, okay, so there's that. At the same time, looking at Ziegler's apartment at the end of the movie, these wooden library walls and the pool table that's so extravagant. I have sadly been in a house that was like that. I had a friend in college who had that type of house. But the thing is, their dad owned the entire Boston newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
And then their mom also did something. And so looking at this apartment, but it's only one person living there, I'm wondering how much the cult bankrolls things.
I think there's a lot more to the cult than that's an excellent question. That's an excellent point. It's probably very old money. The cult feels like old money, so it's just generational wealth that's being passed down and passed down and passed down that doesn't go away. That's kind of how I see that, as like that invite only. You're in the secret society, again, old wealth allowed, which is why you can't just have the password and get in there. They know everybody there. Goofy Tom Cruise comes up with like, oh, I'm just gonna wear a mask and show up to this weird sex party.
Those masks are probably handed down from generation to generation.
Right, exactly.
All because of beautiful women.
We never allowed a new family in.
And he went. I'm like, you want to see beautiful women? You got enough money. There's plenty of ways to do it, buddy. Like there's strip clubs, there's all sorts of things. You'll be fine. Like, come on now.
It's again two people looking for something else
we're jumping
who have everything,
but
but still it's not enough. Sorry,
it makes me wonder if Mandy somehow recognizes him from
he does. She does.
Her on the overdose. And I'm also wondering if Ziegler had specifically chosen her to be one of the sacrifices at the orgy because of the overdose. Like, even if she does something right, we now have her. But if she does something wrong, we can easily make her disappear because she has a history.
I 100% believe he chose her because, like what you said, she was easy to disappear because you already have the history. I mean, how many times do you have random deaths that, like, that happens. And, like, there's a line in this movie where he's like, she's a hooker. I was waiting for him to say she's a hooker, she's just trash. Because if he would have said that, that would actually have bbeen almost a direct quote to what Ghislaine Maxwell says later on in her life to someone that I watched an interview about. So, and I was like, if he says that line, then that's that. Because there's a whole other conspiracy theory.
A false admittance of guilt.
Well, it's because, I mean, to be fair, also, like, I don't know, during this time, well, during history, you have a lot of times where serial killers will hunt sex workers. And there was a serial killer active in New York at this time who did kill a lot of sex workers. He wasn't caught till years later. I mean, not what it's referencing, but, like, that's also, like, I mean, it happens. People don't, you know, like, the fact that that one woman just goes missing, she's like, you know, you hear the AIDS, oh, she left. She got AIDS, she's gone. Like, and again, it makes you question, like, is this other roommate even telling the truth? Like, I don't know. This is such a strange movie. Like, when I first got done watching, I'm like, what the fuck did I just watch? And then I went in a YouTube deep dive, and they started to explain everything that I've saw and what this movie is trying to tell me. And I'm actually rewatching it now as we're talking in the background. And, like, it's just this weird, like, I'm actually starting to, it's really strange. Like, I told my wife, I'm like, don't watch this movie. I'm like, you won't like it, because I think you'll be bored, and it's just it's very, very artsy. I don't like saying that, but this movie is more of an art piece than anything else, and it's more of a.
True. That's the thing.
It is true, but it's also
It's
a
a talking
depiction of.
Did we lose you?
No, I hit my cord. I have to wait a second for it. Fool. But it's also like a depiction, I cannot say that word, of rich and trying to, like, show what... I also felt like it can show what the rich and powerful do, and if you have a limitless amount of money, you get bored, which I do completely believe. And to go back to Bill's point, this is old money. These are people... I mean, there are secret societies around. I mean, we know that part is true in real life, and I completely believe shit like this happens in some of these circles. I mean, 100%.
When the sandals resort's not enough, right? Like when you can just go on a plane and go anywhere in the world that you want, you're always going to want more. I've known some people in my life that have had generational wealth like this. I actually knew somebody who lived in an apartment off Central Park West, just like he was saying, oh, I live off Central Park West. I know exactly where that is in New York. And I know somebody who had an apartment on the 14th floor. We used to go there for the Macy's Day Parade because they would go right underneath his apartment, and his apartment faced Central Park. And we would just go there, and he would have like a catered thing every year. And we would go there and have mimosas and a catered breakfast and watch the Macy's Parade right underneath his window. And I know how much he sold that place for. I'm not going to say it here, but it was in the multiple of millions. And it was nowhere near as nice as the apartment Mr. Bill here has in Eyes Wide Shut. So when you have that ability, like when you have the ability to do whatever you want, I don't say the heart, but the brain, the mind wants something more. And that something more becomes the extreme, becomes the bizarre, becomes the occult, becomes all this other weird stuff that live on the fringes of society, because that's the only place where you're going to find something new and different when you can, again, just go on a plane and go anywhere in the world at the drop of a hat. That's the kind of stuff we're talking about. So it's a very interesting thing, and I think this movie presents that very well. It's the other side of limitless means.
Yeah.
I think we all like. I think
this movie. I said we're skipping around a lot on this.
No, that's
we
fine.
are.
That's not.
There's really like 7 main events that happen in this movie, and the rest of it is just long
because it's
shots.
like acts.
It is.
Yeah.
In a way, it's almost like an anthology. It just follows one person throughout the anthology of events, and there is a sort of wraparound story.
Yeah. There's a story. I mean, there's a story, but it's really focusing on these characters. And that's the one thing I think where this movie falls short, unlike other movies that Kubrick has done that have similar feel. Like 2001, again, we all talked about how genius it is. There's not much happens in 2001: A Space Odyssey either. Like there's not a lot of events. In 2001, you can do that summary pretty quick.
Yeah,
but
the other thing is that is the first of 4 books, which help further explain what the monoliths are and why the monoliths exist.
Right, but the difference is in 2001, you feel for that character, that lead, you have more of a connection with because you can relate to him more, as opposed to no one can relate to Bill, and I can't remember his wife's name at this point.
Alice.
Wow, Alice, thank you. you can't relate to Bill and Alice because we're not in that place. So it's easier. So it's more of there's more distance, which makes it harder to connect with their characters. Even though there's a lot of really good character work happening, it's harder to connect because we're at more of a distance than we are with, the lead in 2001. We can relate to that a bit more.
Funny to think we could have a better chance to go into space than we do of being billionaires. Some people don't realize that.
Oh,
Totally.
No.
Anyway, so we were going to talk about the very uncomfortable moment with
okay, when he does go to the rental.
Well, okay, so there's a lead up to that because he's at the party with his other doctor friends, and he meets up with an old friend of his who dropped out of medical school named Nick. Nick is great, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he became a prominent piano player. He has a residence with his own band over at the Sonata Cafe. Beautiful name, by the way. And he hangs out with this guy. And he's like, man, I'm going to this party tonight. So sad that you only got to see like the final bit of my act. I'm about to go to this party. And Tom Cruise is going, oh, can I come? COME, by the way, despite this being like a full sex movie. And the guy's like, oh, I don't know. It's an invite only thing. I only get the address like an hour beforehand. Phone call conveniently comes. He gets the address and the password. And he's like, oh, you wouldn't like it. I mean, I play the piano. Well, I've heard you play the piano. Blindfolded. Oh, like playing the piano blindfolded is the most extravagant thing you've ever heard.
I think it's the part later that he says that gets his attention when he says, I saw
the mask
women
fell off one time, and I saw some things, women you would not believe. So he goes to so Tom Cruise goes to this costume store at probably 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning, and is trying to buzz the person, thinking that this original client of his, a patient, owns it, but it's been a year since the guy moved to Chicago. Real great time to catch up on your patients. And the new person who owns the store agrees to open the store for like 5 minutes at 3 o'clock in the morning. Because he lives pretty much at the store. It's the basement of the apartment building. Right. Which again is a real thing that places have.
Yep,
there are
absolutely.
Costume stores and stuff that would exist down the stairs from the main street of the apartment building. There are a few of those actually in Massachusetts.
There's a lot of them in New York. I used to go to a bottle shop that was it had apartments above it. Yep.
There was a place lovingly called Condom World that was the basement of a Newberry Comics.
Wow. Yeah, so basement stores are very common in New York. That's
and basement stores always somehow have the best stuff. That's the funniest thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So he opens up, and Tom Cruise agrees to pay him $200 over the actual price because of the inconvenience cost, which is perfectly understandable. And the guy's going, shush, I hear something. Shut the fuck up. Checks his main office, and there's a bunch of takeout Chinese food. And there's 2 very older Asian men, like probably in their 40s to 50s, and what is clearly like a 14 to 17-year-old daughter.
This was the grossest.
She's how old?
She's 16.
In real life.
Jesus Christ.
In real life.
Actually, I think she was 15 when it was filmed.
Oh, 15 or 16, yeah.
So that was the most objectionable part of this movie to me, was like, you couldn't have found somebody who was like maybe early 20s who you could be like, yeah, she's only 16.
Because reading up, Kubrick also directed the adaptation of Lolita.
Right. But like, I don't know. I had already had the ick at this movie from that first party where that guy was like just not taking no for an answer from Nicole Kidman. And then I got to this and I was like, that's Lily Sobieski. I was like, I think she is super young. And I looked it up and I was like, gross. Why did they put her in this movie? Why did her parents let her be put in this movie? And then it's even worse later.
And you know Cooper's going to get that money.
Yeah.
That part did bother me. Like I at first thought, okay, like she's like, they do this in movies all the time. They'll have someone that's 18 or something, but she's not. I mean, there's no nudity because then this would have been, illegal completely. But like, still, it shouldn't have been a 16-year-old actress in here should have at least been an 18-year-old actress.
But here's the creepiest.
I was just say, yeah, there's no nudity, but man, it's revealing enough. Like it is far.
It's not even the revealing thing. It's not even the revealing part. The part that really gave me the ultra ick. It was
the second
ick, of
half
course.
of this plot line.
Well, not the second half. Even before then, the way the camera lingers has the slow move in a way where it really wants you to take this in. That was horribly uncomfortable.
Yeah,
and again, I walk into
this like playful smile, and I swear to God, there might have been like one scene with come hither eyes, and I was like, "Fucking stop!" Please.
Yes, because Stanley Kubrick doesn't want you to be comfortable watching his movies. That's no. But the end, and I had a very visceral reaction to that as well, as I think any sane human should and would. That was the part that really gave me the ultra ick, was that linger on it. Like, no, please, I don't. Please, take it away, please.
I feel like they could have done the same. They could have conveyed the same thing if she had just like stood up from behind the couch while putting a robe, like closing a robe around her or something. Right. I would have been okay.
But Kubrick wanted you to be uncomfortable.
Well, mission accomplished.
Yes. I mean,
job done. Yes.
It bothered me more when I looked up her age, because I was like, I'm curious now, because she looks really young in this. And I mean, and there are actresses who are older and just look super young. Sure. Like, that's not unusual. But yeah, it's bad. And then the part when he comes back, when he returns it the next day in the morning, and the businessmen are still there, and you can tell that the guy pimped out his daughter. That was the whole plan. Like, that made it 100 times worse. It's one thing where like someone younger entices people to come have sex with her and is lying to them, but in a case where all the parties are aware, 100% not okay.
Yeah, and none of it's okay, and
it's not meant to be okay. But
yeah, and it is really grotesque, and in a movie where there's no real violence. Clockwork Orange obviously is full of violence, and Stanley Kubrick has never shied away from that. This kind of emotional violence is more disturbing probably than probably anything in Clockwork Orange. It's really hard, and the fact that she's portrayed as almost, I hate saying this because this is like almost a willing participant in this disgusting stuff makes it all the more horrifying. And again, this is not meant to be. This is Kubrick trying to make you uncomfortable and make a point. But I agree with you, Zach. That was the part where I was like, oh, I forgot about this. Probably because I probably blocked it out. And
the first part didn't bother me.
I fully think he was gonna
with the dance. I want to go back to that real quick. That part didn't bother me. I mean, I get where you're coming from, Zach, because she does say no and he won't give it up. But also, I think that fits two different things. One, this is 99, where like I grew up. I was born in the late 80s, grew up in the 90s. And I remember this type of thinking being drilled into me as a kid. Like, this is how it is. Like, you keep bugging the woman until they say yes, because like, there's so much stupid shit that they say in this movie by the men that I had heard come from people that I would have looked up to as a kid. I'm just going to go there with that. And I don't agree with any of that at all. I mean, at one time I might have thought it was true. Now, 100% no. But so to that, but also to be fair, in her part, she holds her own. And one, she kind of plays along with it, so it didn't bother me. And because she's fully in control of the situation and she's enjoying the attention is how I took it. Mm-hmm. She's not going to do anything. But she doesn't have a problem with him flirting with her. But you are right. But it also kind of it fits the mentality, especially of, let's say here that man is in his, let's say his late 50s, and this is 99. Completely fits that type of mentality, and you add Filthy Rich to it.
Okay, there's one factor that you're not adding in, which is that she constantly says, "I might have had one too many glasses of champagne."
I thought she was,
and I'm wondering how true that is.
I thought she was drugged.
Oh, really? I see. I took it as she was just because there's that shot beforehand where she's walking away from her husband, and the first thing she does is slam an entire glass of champagne in one gulp.
So the fact that she's saying no, despite the fact that she is inebriated and of a, let's be honest, lesser mind, I say, holding up my empty glass of 2 White Russians. Kudos to her for saying no during this situation, but still telling her husband, hey, if that sailor had said yes, in a heartbeat, I would have fucked him behind your back.
Right. And
Well, he
but
was
I think
hot. This
away
guy's
with
old
him.
and gross.
yeah. Well, also he's this guy is not used to being told no. And again, that comes back to what
Yeah.
you were saying, Mike, about this culture of affluence where they don't live in a culture where people say no. That is a very scary thing. If this wasn't in a public forum, if this was like in an alley, there would have been a really gross event would have happened because this guy doesn't understand what no means. Luckily, this happened in a public forum where she was able to get away.
Bill,
and
I
get
have a
safe.
question for you. How many times in the past have you seen this movie?
I think I've seen this probably 4 times. Probably every
Okay.
time it's either shown up on streaming or when I got the DVD, I saw it.
I know the guy has a name, but for
I
the
don't-
current point,
Hungarian
we're going
man?
to call him the Hungarian because that is how he refers to himself to Alice.
Yes. Yes.
Is he at the party?
I say
Not
yes. I know what you
prologue
mean.
party, the midpoint party.
I say
I
yes.
swear to God, that voice sounds familiar as like the red cloaked guy or something.
I don't know. I've never thought of it. I think there were because in the scene where Ziegler is talking to Tom Cruise in his pool room, in his beautifully wooded pool room, and basically saying if you knew some of the names of the people that were there, you wouldn't sleep that well at night. I think it's safe to assume he was there. I don't think he was the man in
He's not.
the red cloak, but I think it's very likely he was there for sure.
I put the guy's
Him,
name
Some senators.
that was in the red
some-
cloak.
Oh,
the actor.
totally. Senators, congressmen, yeah, like all sorts of peoples. So yeah, I think that's definitely likely that he was there, but I don't
Illuminati
think.
Freemason party.
Yeah, totally. Right, exactly.
That's what they're
Yeah.
going for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said it was a pagan Celtic ritual, because it's the masks, it's the fact that it's happening around this time of year, it's the orgy style, it's a very Yule party.
I mean, they also have pentagrams throughout this movie all over the place, hidden.
Oh, I missed this.
Yeah,
the
there
reefs are pentagrams in the party room. I mean, you don't really see the circle around the star, but it has the star.
Mhm.
It's also like in some of like the details in the floor is what YouTube was telling me. In other little places, it's just there, but you have to like again. I keep saying it, but this movie isn't a movie; it's an art piece, and then there's also the idea that this movie, like with all of Kubrick's movies, there's always that like, is he trying to tell us something else? Like there's a huge conspiracy with The Shining, which I think we forgot to mention about how he faked
This
the moon
movie is
landing
totally a hint that he filmed the moon landing.
Well, Shining, I would say. I don't think this one has any.
This one is? Yeah, I don't.
Shining, there's
So the Shining
there's stuff if you look.
smart ass.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Shining, there's stuff. If you look. The rumor with this movie, or the conspiracy now, is that he knew about Epstein and all that crap going on, and this was him kind of like that's what people think. I think that's a little far-fetched, but that's one of the conspiracies with this movie years later.
It could be. Who knows? Fergus
I
Cooper.
mean, I do completely believe that there's cult. And if you believe Ziegler in the end of this movie that the women there were all prostitutes, I mean,
all of them could be killed off at the end and nobody would pay attention.
completely true. Real life true. But also, if you are in that line of work and somebody's offering you this amount of money, you're like, fuck it, whatever. Like, I'm already doing the same thing I do anyway. Like, you look at American Psycho, for example, another movie, but it has the same, he has 2 hookers in his house, and then they're like, fuck you, we're out. But, they go into, and the one woman comes back more than once. So it fits, like, when you are in that line of work, you are also subjective to terrible people, and you really have no outlet to go to because of your work. So I think that's kind of what this movie is trying to say, too, in those scenes. I personally really like the castle stuff. I wanted more.
That was the most interesting part of the movie, for sure.
It is. I mean, I didn't need more of the orgy. I just wanted to see more of what was going on in the castle.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I wanted. I mean, if I wanted orgy, there's Kink Upper Floor. It has that scene just fine without the mask. But it probably has mask too, actually. I don't watch it. I'm not my flavor. But it exists. And it made me laugh. I'm like, I've seen stuff like this before online. I just it doesn't interest me as much. But yeah, so that. And then I found out that some of that stuff was actually edited out in the orgy scene. There's supposed to be more nakedness, but they cut it out to not get an NC-17 rating.
Yeah.
They touched it up with CGI, so you went, and I'm like, oh man, like you should release that version anyway.
Things,
like,
but NC-17 over what? There was barely anything there.
that's why I think, but they covered up. I don't know, like it could be something stupid, like with R, where you said fuck one too many times, R-rated. Like I don't know. I'm assuming not, but I want to know whatever I want to see a release of this, the NC-17 version, just because I want to know what Kubrick had put in there that they felt they had to cover up. That's all. I'm just curious.
Hearing about this movie, I'd always been told that the orgy was the most shocking thing, and then
because
was
I think
constantly
Phoebe,
looking at my laptop the whole time because it was so. Don't want to use the word vanilla.
I mean, I think it's a lot of just if you haven't been exposed to what's out there, this would be seen as something crazy. But like the internet, maybe in '99, the internet wasn't as. I mean, I was on the internet, but it wasn't like what it is today, where you can easily find crazy ass shit if you want to online. Unless you're in certain states, you can lose other sites. But like, it's all out there. And at this time, maybe it wasn't as prominent because the internet wasn't as accessible, and we didn't have as high speed internet as we do now. Let's say.
Yeah, it's also true. Remember, too, a lot of critics when they first saw this, they saw a different cut because, again, like you said, it. I think someone called it the Austin Powers version of it because they, digitally put in like stuff to cover certain things. And
that's a direct quote, actually.
And when because they after the fact they put in lots of different hey, let's put a little statue here to cover this piece, and let's put a little.
No, Tubi has like the full uncensored, which was really
no. We didn't see the full uncensored. Because they didn't release that version ever. It doesn't exist.
No, I think I try to remember the release. I think the Blu-ray edition, the edition I have on digital video disc is the theatrical R-rated cut. I believe the original is out there. The one I saw on YouTube Movies and TV is the rated R version. It's not.
That's what I watched too on Tubi, the R version.
Yeah, so it's definitely a lot more. Also, a lot of the NC-17 wasn't so much that scene in the castle. It was the scene between Nicole Kidman and those flashbacks, his memory flashbacks, or his fantasy. That was filmed to be almost borderline pornographic. That was intended.
Oh yeah, no, in the Tubi version, it was just him kissing the nape every once in a while, and also like a finger sliding clearly somewhere. But that was it. Both of them were still fully dressed.
She's not fully dressed.
You know what I mean?
No.
Oh,
maybe she wasn't.
I'm watching the movie right now. I can tell you that you don't see any. I mean, I also, one random thing, because I always pay attention to this in movies too, because they don't do it in movies much. You see full nudity of women, but you don't see a full nudity of a man. I'm like, come on now. You have a naked guy at one part, but you have him pushed up against. I'm like, just do it just because.
Yeah. That's the MPAA stuff. That's the archaic.
I know.
Yes. Yeah,
I mean, I could have done without
movies that are R-rated that show full flaccid or hard.
Yes, it's a choice because the people that have a problem with that are going to be men that will complain a whole bunch for some reason. That's why it was like that.
Yeah, and actually, as I'm reading up on the release of this, the version I have in the Stanley Cooper collection is the 4:3 full frame aspect ratio, which means which is probably the biggest sin you can do against a Stanley Kubrick movie is cut off the sides of it to make it fit those tube TVs. That's the biggest sin you can do. Criterion,
so many hidden details.
Criterion released a 4K Blu-ray this year, actually a few weeks ago, which is the uncensored cut from the original 35mm camera negatives. They released a version. I actually might purchase that. I would like to see this. I would like to see this in its full.
Ooh, $40.
Frame.
I can't do that.
Yeah, you can. Don't lie.
And as a Stanley Kubrick fan, I'm insulted that I don't have a 4K Blu-ray of 2001. I really should. As a big, I really should. Maybe I'll treat myself. You know what? I'm gonna treat myself.
Good question.
I'm gonna treat myself. Yeah. So the version that I had on the DVD is 4:3, and again, the worst thing you can do to Stanley Kubrick, more than Austin powering the naughty scenes, is cutting off the sides of anything. That's sacrilege. What's the point? What you're there for. That's what you're there for.
There's an example. For one scene in this movie that I would not have caught, period, unless someone put it in my face, which YouTube did. There's a scene when Tom Cruise's doctor is calling the woman of the patient that died, and she was kissing him earlier. He calls her later, and the guy answers, and he hangs up, and he was going to try to ask her for sex. He's playing with a pen and 2 rubber bands. Rubber bands are rubber, supposed to mention a condom, a pen, a dick. And the fact that in that scene, the pen and the rubber bands move on their own in different parts. You see one scene they're over here, and all of a sudden they're somewhere else. And that is because in between scenes, he's playing with them for the scene, but then they purposely show different edits so that way you, just like in Shining, there's a chair that's there and all of a sudden it's gone. You're like, what's going on here? And with Kubrick, there are no stupid mistakes. Nothing was a mistake because the guy is fucking intense and crazy and was a bitch to work for. But like everything he does is on purpose, and that's how that's how I looked at this movie too. Like I'm 100% going to rewatch this movie. Don't watch on Tubi, but I'm 100%.
You're convincing me, but yeah, the problem is Tubi.
It was free, so I got to take it with a grain of salt in that sense. Like that's what I got for being cheap. I have spent money on movies that I have cursed way more, and I Martyrs.
Yeah.
Martyrs is the one movie on the show that I wanted to check out. Like this movie, Martyrs. I hated, fucking hated. Martyrs.
I bought the 4-disc Wishmaster collection, so
That was money well spent, though.
Was it? I've only watched 2 of them so far, and I think one of them was
And it wasn't worth it already?
good, and one of them was so bad it was something.
Also, the fact that he has a cell phone in '99, that's saying something right there.
Yeah, one of
He's
them.
rich, so
Yeah.
And not like a giant brick pull the antenna up like in Pulp Fiction. No, this is like a flip phone.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The one that the piano player has, Nick, that's like a brick. I think that's like a Nokia brick. I actually tried to glance on at the brand. I was like, I think that's a Nokia brick, and I think it was.
this was in '99, right?
This is
Yep.
99 film. This released in 99, so
Yeah, so it was probably shot in-
time
Again, was shot over the course of
earlier they
over a
started
year.
the filming.
400 days, and this is the longest Guinness World Record longest shoot.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's not
Yep.
something you want to go for.
No. Studios
So-
wouldn't let you now. They would just stop you like, no, you're done. We don't care what you have. We're releasing it and we'll get whatever little money we get. We don't care. We're done. Fuck you. So
When he's at the castle and his buddy, I guess, is playing piano. It's more like a synthesizer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nick?
yeah.
I don't know if anybody else here, this is related. I don't know if anybody else here is a Radiohead fan. I'm a huge Radiohead fan.
On and
But
off.
the synth voice that was being used sounds like the one that's used in Kid A.
Oh,
Specifically the
interesting.
song Kid A off the album Kid A.
Yeah,
And
I don't-
I looked into it. I was like, yeah, maybe, but I couldn't really find anything specific about that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
it's interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, no, I figured while we were talking about the party, I would actually look up the play Fidelio. Does anybody know what Fidelio is about? The opera
Lying
or whatever
or
that
true?
is the
I'm
actual password for
I'm
the
assuming
party.
it's
it's lies or truth, I think, is what the internet told me.
I thought it was a conductor or something.
Yes, it is a soul opera by Beethoven.
Hmm.
The libretto tells how Leonore, disguised as a prison guard named Fidelio, rescues her husband Florestan from death in a political prison. Boelli's scenario fits Beethoven's aesthetic and political outlook, a story of personal sacrifice, heroism, and eventual triumph. With its underlying struggle for liberty and justice mirroring contemporary political movements in Europe, such topics are typical of Beethoven's middle period. So, a story about personal sacrifice and heroism is the password to the party where a druggy hooker sacrifices herself for
Wow.
a doctor.
interesting.
I also thought that like I didn't understand how that works. She was just like
She was told
he clearly infiltrated their cult or whatever.
Yes.
He is the danger. Why are they like, well, she said she would die in his place, so I guess that makes us even. Like that
Two
didn't
things. I
make
have
sense to me.
to me, one, just like the guy says, it was meant to scare you. Two, making him disappear would have been noticed.
Okay, that's
A-
fair. That's a good point.
A high professional doctor disappears. People are going to ask questions. People are going to look. There's already a witness who dropped him off somewhere, and he never left. There's too much. But if you threaten his family and you kill someone, because I also believe Nick's 100% dead too. No question.
Oh, yeah,
He did not go back to
absolutely.
Seattle. They killed him. They just made it look a little bit like, oh yeah, he checked out his hotel and then he never got on his plane.
I think Nick is gone. Which, by the way, random cameo by Alan Cummings as the,
right.
the guy at the desk of this hotel.
So great.
Who-
So great.
Also, let's be honest, since this whole movie is about debauchery and sex, the way that he's leaning forward and everything.
Mhm.
Oh my God, Alan Cummings had such a thing for Tom Cruise, the character.
Oh, totally.
I mean,
Totally.
had a thing for
Totally.
him. But okay, so do we think Ziegler knows that these two are dead?
Yes.
So
I-
yeah.
Sure.
So because in that pool hall scene where he kind of basically gives Tom Cruise the story, like, look, all that was staged. Do you really think they were just trying to scare you to not talk about this? Because the people in that room, you stumbled into a secret society thing. Because he even says there was no second password. There was no second password. So this was all designed just to. He's like, I had those people follow you. He knew Ziegler knew that he had talked to the desk clerk. He knew all of these different things. He kind of knew what was happening. And Ziegler, I think, and again, I choose to take a lot of this on his face because I usually do that with movies. That's just kind of how I'm wired a little bit. I don't really think beyond what's in the frame, and that's just could be a limitation to me just as a moviegoer. But for me, when I watch that, I don't know whether or not Ziegler's telling the truth. Obviously, the way he's talking about the sex worker is like that was going to happen to her anyway. This really cruel, impersonal, she was doomed anyway kind of feeling. I don't know. I think he knew what was happening. The way I read it is that Nick is actually probably fine in Seattle. Like they fired him. Now he's back in Seattle. I guess that's me choosing that because there's nothing in the text of the movie that would suggest otherwise.
You are
so
No, that's fine. And I think this movie is open to a lot of interpretation.
yes.
One of the things that definitely can't be interpreted is that Tom Cruise's character, Mr. Bill Harford, needed to stop and did not know how to stop because let's look. He goes to this party. He gets kicked out. He decides to poke the bear some more. He actively goes to the address again. They hand him a letter saying, no, this is your second warning. There will not be a third one. And what does he do? He starts going to the morgue, talking to Ziegler and going, were you there at the party? And it's like, you got what nobody else ever gets, a second warning about poking the bear. And you were like, let's if I poke the bear with an electric prod, though. And the answer is putting the mask on your pillow next to your sleeping wife.
There's more than that.
There is a bit more. Yeah, he gets followed.
There's more.
Is there more?
Yes.
What's past the mask on the pillow?
You remember that final scene where they're in a toy store?
Yes.
His daughter walks off, and two men that we have seen earlier in the movie that either involved with the cult, that are somehow involved with the cult. I can't remember. They're either at Ziegler's party, but it's two men that you recognize that you've seen in this movie follow her as she walks off screen.
Fuck. Okay, I need to watch this again.
Yep.
I missed
I did
that.
not catch it. YouTube told me it, and then I looked and I went, oh, because you can see them in trench coats. They follow her when he's talking to his wife because he's not paying attention to his daughter. It is not over. That's why I said I want the other hour to 2 hours of this movie because his life is fucked.
Okay,
I want the rest of it, but again, it's not here.
Right
that's
now.
not. But they're not done. He fucked up, and he's going to pay the price. That's where this movie is. And there's a lot of rumors that there were deleted scenes, that there was shit that happens to him that they just did not put in this movie. It's Kubrick, so anything, in my opinion, anything deleted is chosen by Kubrick not to be there. It's not, or it was probably never even filmed. I mean, there's no proof. From the sound of it, there's no proof. It's just rumors upon rumors. So, but there's a fact that when she walks off, two men follow her and go that direction, and they were the same men that you see earlier. I'm gonna wait till I'm gonna relook at the scene, but that's what YouTube had told me. So. Yeah, I think that the mask, and I think they come for his family, is what I think happens. Because he's actually, and these are people, I mean, the idea that in this movie, these cult are powerful, rich people, you can make people disappear. I mean, if you want to see a show that talks about it, the show You, which I'm very careful while recommending anybody, because that show shows you about a guy who tries to makes people disappear. And he's not a rich man. He's just somehow smart and crazy at the same time. So.
Yeah, if we're talking about like what happens next, I know. Again, I think it's a fascinating conversation. Me personally, I think the movie begins with the two of them. It ends with the two of them. Yeah. I don't think they're going to give him another thought. I think he is small potatoes compared to what's going on. And I think, because that ending conversation where they're basically talking about what do we do next, and he even says, like, he mentions forever, and she says something like, please don't use that word, it frightens me. There you go. That's the problem. He doesn't need some mysterious dudes in trench coats to follow him. He's right back where he started, and he has to do now they both have to do the hard work of repairing their relationship. I think, and of course her final F-bomb, which is her suggestion for how to fix things, basically, is not going to solve the problem. And I think that's why I think that was chosen as the final word of the film.
100%.
Is that these people didn't learn anything. They have not learned a thing from this escapade, or Tom Cruise has not learned the thing. He's at least admitted what he did. He at least came clean, so they have an opportunity to repair, but I don't think they ever will. I don't think, and that is the saddest possible ending, because it's Stanley Kubrick, who doesn't really like fun endings anyway. He's not a man who enjoys a good fun ending. So I don't know.
To go back to her saying that, one, it to me, it hits two things. One, it hits the fact that, like you said, or I'm going to say three things. One, they learned nothing because they didn't learn anything. Two, it's a Band-Aid situation, and it's a Band-Aid for a lot, I'm going to say men at this time. Certain men would have been like, okay, she has sex with me, therefore everything's fine, or I don't care because I got laid type of thing. So I think that's what it's going for. It's also standing up the show, like, because earlier he's like, women don't care about sex, they just care about security, which is also not a true statement, but people believed it. So I think that's also why she says it the way she does in the end, is one, to show her individual sexuality, and because it will make him feel happier for that moment and get him to shut up, I think, too, kind of how I took it. But I really like the fact that it was chose to end on the word fuck.
Yeah.
So rewatching the scene, maybe I'm blind, but I can't see the two men. But however, the comments are talking about some really interesting things. Like, the daughter was holding the Barbie with wings, and the daughter at the beginning of the movie is wearing wings. Nicole Kidman did not allow her daughter to take the teddy bear and said, wait and see. Then the daughter picked the Barbie. She then allowed her daughter to follow the two strange men. Also, her daughter has the same color hair as Mandy, the woman who, quote-unquote, overdosed at the Christmas party and later died. In the beginning, when their daughter was wearing the fairy ballerina suit, she was on a red couch, just like the one Mandy OD'd on. According to one of the producers, Nicole Kidman saying fuck is not supposed to be the final ending. The final ending is the daughter walking alongside two men in suits leaving the mall.
Oh, maybe that's what they were referencing then, and I just misunderstood it.
That must be what they're referencing then. Okay. Yeah, because I'm
watching it now. See if I could have sworn I saw it.
Her running off to grab the Barbie, and also when they're in the middle of the aisle and the daughter runs into the background. Neither one of those I can see two men in the suit. But hearing this extended ending, that's terrifying.
Yeah, that makes sense why that was cut out then.
Does make sense.
Especially, Kubrick's dead. By the time this movie's released, Kubrick's dead, so they're like, he ain't gonna stop us.
Oh yeah, and again, we're not sure if that was a Kubrick's decision or if that was just a...
Yeah, we don't know.
From what I understand...
It sounds like it was the producers said absolutely not to that ending.
Okay.
Which makes sense.
Yeah,
but
that's probably
if it goes along with the conspiracy theory that what he was actually referencing, what people believe now, I don't want to buy into that, because there's no...
I don't know. After finding out that he directed Lolita, I can fully believe that he would have had that ending filmed and in the final cut, and the producer said, fuck no!
Okay, no, she isn't followed, but there is a man that maybe... Okay, maybe it was...
There are a few guys in that shop that seem a little on and off, but nobody clearly follows the daughter.
No, she follows a bald guy, but also if you were going to be someone that's, there, one of your better ways is just be there and just pay attention. I mean, I've done that personally, like, because I wanted to be a detective at one point in my life, and I have that. There's certain things in the mentality, but I understand how to, like, pay attention to what's happening around you, but completely seem aloof. I do it all the time, not even on purpose. It's just kind of what I do, and so I kind of get that, like the idea that you would just you just be there, but especially if you're ahead of the person, like they don't even realize you're watching them, but you are because you're paying attention. Other things, so. I don't know. This is such a strange fucking movie.
It definitely is.
It's a weird one, and I don't, and it's not one of Kubrick's best, in my opinion. It really isn't.
No,
I think, but again, it's interesting, and there's a lot I admire about it. Even just again from a pure filmmaking perspective. Again, his use of colors and his use of all the different things that he does super well. Like Barry Lyndon's very similar, if you ever watch that one, where it's not so much the actual story of Barry Lyndon or the characters, it's just how gorgeously the damn thing is shot. Again, knowing that he used all natural light and candlelight and used special lenses constructed to capture light in a certain way, like just what he was able to do in the 80s, in the 1980s, is remarkable. And again, his movies have a certain feel that no other cinema has. And that's why I respect him so much as a visual artist, even if he is a complete jerkatron to his actors unnecessarily.
I mean, there's also the rumor that he led to their divorce, because their divorce is a couple years after this.
Yeah, and we should probably talk a bit about all the spin up leading up to this. This was a big deal because this was Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise, the power couple of power couples in Hollywood, doing a movie together as a married couple, which again makes the emotional manipulation seem completely unnecessary. They are a married couple. They could just do that. But that was a big deal, and a lot of the negative backlash to this movie was because it was framed or shown as this like erotic thriller, and this is not a thriller. It's really not, and it was really sold on the poster as Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise doing married things in this, and it was billed as like this really scandalous thing when at the end of the day, it's very, very banal, especially between the two of them. There's no real sparks or anything like that. So a lot of people walked away from this expecting, a good amount of boinking, and there was really not much to be had between the two leads. So that was a bit of a disappointment for a lot of people when this came out. So the studios definitely tried to spin this into something it wasn't in the marketing.
So I want to go back to an earlier point, unfortunately, because I'm watching the scene. So when you have when he goes to the stuff with the daughter, that is uncomfortable as fuck. But like for first, she's happier when you see her at night, but in the morning when he shows back up, that is completely a fake smile. Her face is cold, where when you see her earlier, her face is not cold. That is extra uncomfortable. But
it's
their daughter or the costume store daughter?
The costume daughter, the one that was.
Yeah, that's because originally it was supposed to be like a stupid thing. She was making the decision on her own because it's a dumb child, and then
yes,
I truly believe he was going to call the police, but they paid a high enough price that he went, "Oh, wait a minute,
mm-hmm.
My daughter can be useful."
Yeah, but it just grotesque. And with Kubrick, everything's on purpose. So like the way her face is, the way that she shakes Tom Cruise's hand, and she's just, you look at her, it is a cold face. And it's
rough. It's rough. It ain't great.
Okay. Sorry, I might actually buy this movie.
Did not think we were going to come near the length of what this movie actually is.
No, we won't, because
this is one of those where I can't see myself watching this again as much as I admire.
We have now recorded longer than I thought this movie should have been.
I disagree.
Yeah.
Also, there's way too much nudity in this movie. Like, there's more. I saw more naked breasts in the movie than I've seen in other videos that I watched. So I was like, my God.
It's funny that my cat jumped on my lap when the first lower region showed up. So it's like, the pussy showed up when the pussy showed up.
regarding the nudity, I thought it made sense in the castle at the first party scene early on in the movie where the one woman overdoses. He's a doctor. He would have thrown a towel or a jacket over her or something. Like, she was just completely naked the whole time he's trying to revive her. That was unnecessary. But I think the weirdest bit of nudity, the thing that stuck out for me is like, they're just trying to get some more tits in this movie, is when they're kind of showing him going throughout his day as a doctor. And he does like a breast exam, but he's also a pediatrician. Like, I don't know how many doctors are pediatricians and gynecologists. Like, I thought that was
odd.
weird.
Pediatrician?
That is odd.
I didn't even catch that. You're right. He does see a kid.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. You're right.
Wait, during that scene, is there a nurse in the office? Because he specifically tells. Okay.
Yes.
He specifically told his wife.
My God, is that another reference?
Nurse with me.
Like, okay, I kind of can see where people get the conspiracy theory in here. The fact that he's a pediatrician and a gynecologist, or at least, check. I don't know if you need a guy to check your boobs. I'm not sure.
It's usually a gynecologist who does.
Okay.
But
Never had that conversation. That's who my wife does.
But usually it's certainly almost never also a pediatrician.
No,
Yeah,
that's. But I
yeah.
wonder if that's okay. Now I'm starting to almost buy into that conspiracy theory, huh? Okay.
And it would make sense if they were like in some podunk town in the middle of nowhere. There's only one doctor, and everybody's got to go to him. But like, this is New York City. There's another doctor on the same floor of that building. I'm sure, right? Probably in the same office.
It's not like you're not like a little town where like I get that.
The only thing I can think of, and this is me just making excuses for, probably you're right. That does sound very odd. Is that it could be like a private practice kind of doctor where he's like the celebrated, almost like not celebrity doctor. I mean, he's getting invited to fancy parties with fancy people. If he's like a celebrity doctor, I could see someone saying, "Hey, I just want my doctor to look after my kid." I don't know, but you're right. That's a weird choice. So the only thing I could think of is that he is such a high profile doctor that rich people would have their entire family go see this one private practice person. And it does seem, he does say to his assistant at one point when he starts going on his little detective trail to figure out what's going on, hey, see if Dr. So-and-so can see them, if not just reschedule, which implies there's other people in the practice. So that refutes what I just said. So I think that might have just been
but
just
the fact that it's
continuity
in this movie is on purpose.
Yes.
Right.
Because nothing Kubrick does is not completely on purpose to make you think something.
So I understand the purpose of him doing the breast exam, because then like there's the scene later with Nicole Kidman where she's like, what are you thinking about when you're touching someone's breast or whatever? And then, which by the way, I thought he handled that whole thing pretty well. But so then what's the purpose of him also seeing kids? Like what was that? Like being a pediatrician, I don't understand what the purpose of that.
Yeah, I don't. I really don't.
Conspiracy theory. I feel then there's no other reasoning like I can think of.
I really don't know. You're right. A pediatrician would not normally also.
No.
They don't moonlight. Again, the only thing I can think of is that he is almost like a celebrity doctor where he has a private practice. But again, there is obviously another doctor at the practice who could have taken those clients. So I don't know. That's a great question. I honestly think, who knows? I don't know.
Okay.
You stumped me.
This is the kind of movie that you like, Phoebe, watch YouTube stuff in the background. Like, I think you'll enjoy it more. Same with Zach. Just because I do that with movies all the time. Like
I was doing work while watching it.
No, I mean, watch YouTube videos now about that talk about like
I
things
see
in
what
the
you're
movie.
saying.
It makes it more interesting, I think, because I enjoyed this movie in my watch, but then when I went back, when I watched more videos and now I'm rewatching it, I'm appreciating it more, even though we're doing a podcast while I'm talking, but I have subtitles on, obviously, because it's me, and that's how I watch a lot of movies when we record. I put the movie on the background, so as we talk, I'm able to remember scenes and things. But like, I'm seeing stuff I didn't notice since YouTube kind of pointed out. Like, I don't know, this is a strange one, but I personally like it a lot. The only other thing we haven't talked about much is, well, one, the orgy scene is also kind of made me think of Squid Game too, because they have those masks on. When we talk about that, but I want to go back to that real quick. I just thought of it. I mean, again, it is the most interesting part of this movie, and it's also the part that was like the most talked about when this movie is brought up. People always talk about the orgy scene, and I'm like, this is really tame.
And that's the problem, because I was led to believe that was like the majority of the movie was set during this thing. And it's 20 minutes of a 2.5 hour long movie.
It's a lot. It's a
38-minute movie.
It's a lot.
No,
it's a lot.
No, you know what? You're right, Mike. With Tubi, it was an over 3 hour long movie.
Yes, it was. Oh, and I don't know if you know this, but if you switch Tubi from your TV and cast it to your TV and go back to your phone, even though you might have just seen a commercial, it's going to play you another commercial.
Yep. So, it does not matter.
That's what I was doing, because I was walking around watching this on different. If Ken was listening to this, he'd be like, "What the fuck am I?" So hopefully, you listen to the episode. But
I'll do it for him. What are you doing, Mike? Mike, come on. Can't. This is Kubrick here. We're not watching. We're not watching Ernest Goes Back to College or something. This is a Kubrick film.
I know. I was watching it wrong. But also, like, this is another me thing. The fact that it's a bunch of beautiful women wearing these type of masks, I like that personally. I'm like, this is fucking cool. But that is a very, like, me thing, and I'm just going to leave it there. So fair. I was also extra attracted to this movie for that, because I'm like, yeah, that hits. I don't know what it is, but I'm like, yep, that is cool and hot and sexy in all different ways. I'm like, I like this idea. So, but I'm a strange man at times, so.
It's nothing. You're allowed. Hey, I appreciate the honesty.
I think the masks are really cool in this. And then when they talk, because I didn't catch this at all until YouTube said, there are different styles of masks that represent what tier these people are at. Some are more animal masks, which are lower tier people. Like, there's references to that throughout this movie and what they're wearing. So I thought that cool. And there's also supposed to be more women. There's supposed to be more naked women than you see, because I think they cover that up. Which, there's not that many naked women in the center circle. I'm like, there's a lot of people here, and there are not a lot of women that are being
some of those masks are pretty creepy. I gotta say, the one that always gets me and will always get me is what's it called? Something doctor, the long nose, long bird nose.
Yes.
Plague doctor?
The plague doctor. Yeah.
The plague doctor mask. That will always creep me out. That is an effective, scary thing that will always give me the willies.
Plague doctor mask exists, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they stuffed it with stuff so they didn't have to smell it.
Yep.
They stuffed it with stuff so when they were going around during the black. There's a fascinating series of it's not even documentaries. They're actual. My wife's going to go off the rails a little bit. I'm sorry. My wife got a hold of the Great Courses, I think it's called, or something. It's like a streaming thing where you can watch a 35-part documentary, or actually it's a college course on the Black Death, and it is fascinating. They go through all that stuff, like plague doctors and everything else. Fascinating stuff.
Awesome.
It's actually great. Yeah, it's like called the Great Courses or something. I forget what it was. It's like you pay $2 for the year, like one of those things, and it was actually fascinating. It's just a person giving like a college level dissertation on the Black Death and Black Plague. And it's fascinating. Anyway, those masks are creepy. They will always creep me out. Very effective.
All right. I think Mike's still stepped away. Let's wrap this up. Oh, dang it.
I might leave that in, actually. Zach, I do want to hear, what are some of the things that made you really not like this movie besides the ick feeling?
I mean, it was mostly that. It just started off icky and then just got worse, but it was kind of boring in a lot of it. It did get a little bit interesting in the castle part. And I just, not the whole thing, but parts of it I thought were either acted badly or maybe written badly. One of the things I had actually written down is pretty early on at that first party when Tom Cruise, Dr. Bill, he meets up with that guy Nick, right? They start talking, and like that whole conversation is not great between the two of them. But then
it's pretty forced, yeah.
Yeah. Then the one of the other guys comes over and is like, Nick, I need you for something. And he's like, I'll be right there. And then he's like, listen, I got to go do something. And Tom Cruise was there the whole time. He heard the guy say, I need you for something. Like, it was so weird. So just stuff like that. It was taking me out of the movie entirely.
Yeah. Kubrick is not known. I mean, I should not known for dialogue, but yeah, again, but also think they probably have to do that scene 85 times. So
yeah,
that was take 62 out of 85 probably. So it's like, how many times can you do it? Yeah, I agree with that.
That's another, that was when I was wondering how many times they made Nicole Kidman do the thing where she's like painstakingly talking about the dream that she had. Like that dragged for so long.
It goes on.
Like, it goes on. So like if she had to do that one, but my whole, like with that whole part, when I don't remember exactly what the dialogue is leading up to where she goes about her in excruciating detail, everything that happened in her terrible dream or whatever. But why didn't, like, he was like, what happened? What would you dream about? Why didn't she just go, I don't remember? Because most of the time you do not remember your dreams, right?
Yeah.
Could have avoided, like, I don't know, 7 minutes of her just going into detail about how she was getting fucked by all these guys. And I just didn't need that.
There's a question there that this is how I took it before YouTube. When she tells that dream in quotations, and she's crying, I don't think it was a dream. I think she was drugged.
Yeah, that could be.
But
that's how I took it.
In like a deserted city, like it was an apocalypse or something. That's the weird thing.
But if you're drugged, I mean, you might be having hallucinations on top of whatever else is going on.
True.
I mean, think about it. The mask doesn't she say that after he finds the mask, right?
Yeah.
The mask is left there completely on purpose. We know that. And we do know, historically speaking, Diddy, for example, people have done crazy shit like that and drug people. So he's completely believable. That's how I took it. The moment I heard that scene and the way that he breaks down and crying, I think he also realizes it wasn't a dream. And then when you look at her last line, she's like, was it real or not? I don't want to know. Also, to me, cements that it wasn't a dream in this movie.
Do you think she was at the party?
No, I don't think she was at the party. I think she was abducted afterwards. Because
Nah,
he keeps.
I don't.
I don't
That's
know.
how
I
I
don't
took
know.
it, at least.
That's
But
a,
that
isn't
was-
it?
that was-
Not in the movie per se, but it's how I
That
took
was-
that line.
That was before he found the mask, I think.
Oh, is it that?
I don't think that negates what you
Oh,
said,
never mind.
but
Okay.
Yeah, the way I see it, the way I see that whole scene is basically her just again yearning for connection, yearning for him
that's
to
okay.
care about her in a way that he doesn't anymore because they're now in parent roles and they don't. And she's able to go to the bathroom while he's getting ready for the party. Like the fact that they no longer have they're no longer dating each other. That's like a thing they say in marriage ministries a lot. Marriage things. You got to keep dating your wife. You have to keep your partner. You have to keep learning about them because they
Good
are
advice.
changing as time goes on. And so you have to continue dating because we stop dating because now you become parents and parents become this and it's your roles change. So the fact that they've stopped doing that, she's yearning for him to care about her in a way that he probably doesn't anymore. He's satisfied with everything. He's satisfied with his practice. He's satisfied with his wife. He is just super duper satisfied and she is super duper not. So yeah, she's going to have this at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, share this dream because I see it as her just yearning for connection and him not being able to accept that any other way other than this is now free license for me to do my thing, which he almost does because he's getting handsy with that with that other person in the apartment. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's an interesting theory though. It's an interesting theory.
Yeah, that's how I took it, and that's how I felt in the movie when she said it. So the party must have. I don't remember when. I'm not at that part, but I just know that's where my brain went in my original viewing of this. Was that it wasn't fake, like it wasn't a dream.
The movie does give you a lot of time to come up with theories because boy, oh boy, there's a lot of space between lines and words. So you have plenty of time to kind of like mull these things over. So yeah.
And rewatching the castle scene, there is one woman in a red dress that you can, not a cloak, just a red dress that's involved, like holding down someone during the orgy type thing. Not like forcibly, but just there. And that, that's not coincidence that they went with that. So, I don't know, I find it interesting. Because I'm just rewatching this, because otherwise you don't see, all the other women are naked. It's the one, or at least if they have, maybe the women also have cloaks on, you don't know, but that's the one woman that does not have a cloak that's dressed.
Interesting.
I also think they were going to kill him at this party at first.
Oh, absolutely.
The Ziegler inner steps. Because when that one woman's like, do you want to go somewhere more private? Why would you want to go somewhere more private when you guys are just fucking right out here in the open? That's just what this is. Like, we're going somewhere private because we're going to kill you. Because we're, now that I'm rewatching, I'm like, why would, you don't need to go private. Look at what they're doing. Like, this isn't private. Like, that's not what this is here. So also all the women that are naked have collars on too. So
yeah.
Again, very story of O. I said again, very story of O.
I don't know what that is.
A whole book about servitude and BDSM.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Something else I thought of. Okay. I knew that's what they were going for, the whole servitude thing, but I just I did not catch that when I first watched this until just now that I'm rewatching this scene. Yeah, if I would have had time, I would have watched this movie like 3 times.
Oh, you should have been like me and watched it like the minute you decided to schedule it. I watched this like 2 weeks ago and with the intention of probably watching it again. And I was like, nope.
No, I don't blame you. I completely understand where you're coming from, Zach and Phoebe. Like, not liking this, completely understand.
Yeah, it was fun doing this, and then right before, I watched this at 5, and it ended at 8:30, which was already ridiculous. And then doing a chaser of Violent Night, and now we're here.
Also,
Violent Night's fun.
You see Nick getting escorted out. I didn't catch that earlier. And there's 2 naked men that are dancing. They don't have collars on, while the women do.
Yeah, because
there's another woman. No,
it's only men.
No, there's one woman.
There was that one woman that was with Ziegler.
So there's a few, and there's also a woman that looks like she has a mask on, and I think it's a woman, not a man, because of the hair. Just because there's something about the way that I think it was a woman under there, but you can't completely tell.
Yeah, when Tom Cruise looks up on the balcony and the guy nods his head, I'm very certain that's a woman next to her or next to him, but I think that's Ziegler at that moment who does the extremely light nod.
Also, all the masks that are around the red guy are much more detailed masks than what you see outside the people having the orgy.
Because they're the top dogs. They're the old families.
I want a whole nother. I want more.
No, I
know it's the most
it would be
interesting part of the movie. That's not
interesting
a
to
lie.
read the book Dream Theater or Dream Candy, whatever the hell this book is called.
Posted in the chat earlier. Curious. And the
It's
full
Dream
name of the
something.
movies. I mean, this might only be me, but when I saw the red guy sitting there and the two purple guys next to him as guards, I thought of Royal Guards from Star Wars. That's all I took.
Man, it was the one thing I noticed very quickly, considering how the lighting in this movie works, Dream Story, by the way, is they ask Tom Cruise to come forward because they're going to ask him the password question. They know he's not part of the party. And he had specifically asked the costume store clerk, I want a black cloak. And with how this movie is shot, his cloak is not even black in some of the lighting. It is like a dark blue.
Yep.
But all of the people who are supposed to be there, their cloaks are like ebony, blacker than black. Eat the light up.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good
she's
point.
right. I didn't catch that, but now I am. I mean, also the idea is supposed to be that clerk was also somewhat involved in this or somehow knew because there's the masks that are in the room with him that you kind of see are supposed to be referenced. Like, I don't know. There's so many fucking theories to this.
Oh no! The fact that he's got that hidden room that's like red velvet.
Oh, yeah, good point.
All of the mannequins that are like dressed up. And again, that is very Marquis de Sade style party. That room.
Yep.
Whether or not the store clerk knew about the party, I don't know. But he was definitely selling costumes to some type of sex parties. Maybe not the cult party, but basic bitch orgies, probably.
I also think that if he would have gotten undressed like they asked him to, he's fucking dead. That's how I took it too. Well, other things before death, but death was coming. Is how I took it. So I don't think it would have been. And I do think that she was murdered, not drug overdose. Completely
Absolutely. No, whether or not they. I think that they made it look like an overdose. They probably did have a lot of drugs there and just... Because think about... Oh, this movie has so many little details, and I want to put this in the box, but the fact that we're talking about it makes me like it more. This is such a talking piece. It is the fact that Ziegler is clearly a doctor. He clearly knows medical stuff, but he specifically talks to Bill or asks for Bill during that very first party at the very beginning of the movie. Almost like he doesn't want to be implemented towards anything involving Mandy. I think during the Christmas or the pre-Christmas party with the doctors and everything, Ziegler was already putting a mark on her for the pagan Celtic whatever the hell thing. So the fact that they were asking him so many different questions and blah, blah, blah. I think the idea is that Ziegler is marking her for the party, but is also getting to know her. So that way, if something needed to happen to her to make her disappear, they know what all of her weaknesses are. And already had the quote-unquote ammo, the speedballs and everything on standby in another room. So she says, I will redeem him. And they probably shot her up with everything under the sun because that's what she's known for anyway.
So is Ziegler is he a doctor? Because I thought he was Bill's patient.
He is Bill's patient, but I think I don't know. I don't know.
I mean,
if
he could also be a doctor.
That is a weird patient. What the hell is Ziegler's job that he's got that apartment?
Old money. It's been they helped build the ironworks.
He isn't a doctor. He's a wealthy financer, middleman, is what I got in here.
Fucking Illuminati.
Yeah, he's a guy with money who does money things. What else do you need to know?
Ziegler was a gynecologist
your weird cult
in early drafts, which might explain some lingering ideas about him being a doctor. That's what Google AI told me.
Well, let's believe it.
Ask the fucking AI, man.
Ask Google. That's what came up, and I went with it because it seems accurate enough. AI can be fine in certain circumstances. It just depends on what you're using it for. If you're using it, let's say here to show in a Power Rangers board game where Trump is a villain, it works perfect. If they want to do it for that fact, let's just say randomly, no reason I would bring that up. It works perfectly. So if you want to have a newscast where he says the Power Rangers are evil and I'm going to stop them,
did you really do that?
Allegedly.
Yes, we did. There are videos. AI was used for them. So. All right, any last things you guys want to say about this movie? Because I know we're getting on the 2-hour mark. So
Oh, 2 hours.
I'm good. I got everything in, I think.
Can't think of anything for a Yule cult or pagan Celtic cult. Man, you guys hold some boring parties.
Step it up.
Yeah.
Talking about the orgy party? That didn't look
Yes.
boring. Not look, but also we only see part of it, and what we see, I think, is the lower class people in this party. But also, yeah, that's all I take it to. But no, I mean, it wasn't boring. It didn't look boring to me. But then again, I haven't been to any. I've never had that type of life, so and probably never will. But I know it exists.
For inviting
also, I
us
mean-
to this first episode of Games My Mom Found After Dark, Mike. This was great.
Nice.
Part of me does want to make those someday, but not. Who knows? But yeah, I'm very open about how I talk at this point. I don't even care. I don't say a whole lot, but I'm very open. Okay, I have a cat that for some reason wants to walk on my keyboard right now. I don't know why. But he's like, I am going to walk on that keyboard no matter what you move or do. I think it's hunger.
Pet him.
Okay, so Bill, do you have any last things you want to say?
I'm good. Let's rock it. Let's shelf stack or box this baby.
All right, I'll go first because I want to. I'm putting this on the shelf. I was mediocre on this movie after watching it, confused, but after watching a bunch of YouTube videos and rewatching majority of this while we talked for 2 hours, I like this movie. There is something here that is very different than other movies, and I don't know how to explain it. I mean, this movie feels just, there's something so interesting about it to me. So I'm putting it on the shelf, and I'm really happy that we watched it because I never would have watched this most likely unless it had been a Patreon poll where I feel forced. So, because it just might never happen. Like, shelf. Phoebe.
Man, I'm still gonna put this on in the box just because of how slow and methodical this movie is. It definitely feels more like a play or something that is trying to be super pretentious, even though it's not. However, talking to you guys about it for this long and all these different theories, I would be willing to watch this again in the far off future and give it another shot.
And Zach.
I do not like this movie. And I mean, I don't know if I would have watched it otherwise, if not for this podcast. And so in that respect, I'm glad that I did it to have this conversation. That was good and it made it worth sitting through. But I don't see myself ever watching it again. It's going in a box and the box is going in the fire.
Wow.
Hey, this is a better movie than Thor, not Ragnarok, the last one, Love and Thunder.
Does it make me uncomfortable when I watch that? I love that movie.
You like Thor, Love and Thunder?
Oh, dude, I made it. I think I ranked it. I ranked it really high, and George disagreed. And then we had to play Trivial Pursuit Poker for it, and I won. And so it's like really high.
It's interesting. I've yet to see it. Yet to see it because I'm sure Mr. Albertin will make me see it at some point.
Ragnarok was
We're gonna
fun.
get back
Love
into
and
those,
Thunder was
yeah.
boring.
It's divisive, but I really liked it. I found it
found it
entertaining and
awful.
made me cry a couple of times. So
I loathe Ragnarok. It's so stupid.
I like.
I didn't like it as much.
About Love and Thunder, but there are a lot of bad things.
I didn't like Ragnarok as much when I rewatched it. So there's something there, Bill.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Anyways.
Both times I watched it. I fucking hated Love. I only seen Love and Thunder once, and I wanted to stop. But I was like, it got to get better, right? It got to get better, right? Nope. Okay, that's the conversation. And Bill.
This is a stack for me. This is kind of like second tier Kubrick for me. Although second tier for Kubrick is still like most directors' dream to be a second tier Kubrick. But this movie there's a lot to appreciate. I like being uncomfortable when watching movies, so for me this kind of falls into that wheelhouse. Obviously there are certain things in this movie that are beyond uncomfortable that we already discussed and that nobody should find easy to watch, but there's a lot to appreciate this movie from a filmmaking perspective. This is a challenging movie. It's not a fun one, but it's also a movie I wouldn't like bust out again anytime soon to watch over and over again, despite how gorgeous it looks and how and the techniques that he uses to construct these shots. And just it's a Kubrick movie. It is kind of what it is in that realm. So just a stack for me for all the reasons mentioned.
That's about. I'm surprised I was the only one that shelved it. I'm a little surprised.
I'm a little surprised too.
But I'm this. To be fair, this movie makes me want to watch more Kubrick films now and dig into his filmography. Like, I really think I'm going to make an effort to cover a majority of his films in 2026. Like, that's what this movie did to me, and it's weird, but it made me want more of his work. And it makes me want to finally sit down and force myself to watch Clockwork Orange, because that is one of the few movies that I've just said nope and never finished. Like, I usually finish most things I start.
It's tough. Just be aware. It's tough.
Oh, I know. But
are you gonna have Tiff strap you to a chair and put those eyelid clamps in your eyes so you can't?
Besides the eyelid clamps, I'm okay with the first part. The eyelid clamps, I don't know about that. But the first part, I'm completely okay with. So,
Mike, would you like a more PG version of Clockwork Orange?
No, I want to watch that.
Like a family-friendly Clockwork Orange?
Well, I'm curious what you're talking about, though. So,
102 Dalmatians.
I'm good. I'd rather watch Clockwork Orange, I think. I'll watch that instead. No, I really, actually, I mean, for me, watching this movie and having us discuss it and everything, like, it feels like I didn't watch this to have a good time. I watched it to check a box off my list of experiences. And that's how I categorize this movie. And that's why I put it on the shelf. It is a different thing. And I feel like that is very much Kubrick in general to me, is that it is a box you check that you did it, not something that you enjoyed. And I know that's weird because movies are entertainment, but sometimes entertainment can be different things. That's where I want to leave it off on. And unless someone doesn't comment that, but let's go to plugs. Bill, where can people find you at?
Gamer Looks at 40, as always, has been since 2021. I think I started that show 5 years ago. Oh my God. Or 4 years ago, whatever it was. Yeah, retro video games, where I think almost everybody on this podcast. Zach, have you been on my show yet?
Not yet, because I won't touch Final Fantasy.
Well, Final Fantasy
you've been on that for like 2 years.
Yes, I started the Final Fantasy series in March of last year. I did that math yesterday in writing the final script of the final episode. Not the script.
The Final Fantasy?
The final Fantasy episode I will do on my show, unless I do 10. I may do 10 at some point, but that won't be for many, many moons. So you can rejoin the fold, sir. The next one I'll probably do.
I look forward to it.
Is Metroid will be the next
I'm your man.
I do. I love Metroid.
He's your man. I'm your gal, please.
Yes, we will see when that happens. It's gonna be a little bit before I get started on that. We have to see what the other show is doing and all the other things. Time stops for no one, so that's and it's a finite thing. So, but yeah, there's a whole bunch of episodes that are not Final Fantasy related. It's hundreds of them. So by all means, go and check them out at agamerlooks4040.com. If you dig people talking about retro video games, and if you listen to this show, then you certainly do. So check it out.
Phoebe.
I am the Let's Play Princess. You can find me over on YouTube and Twitch under that name, under Blue Sky and Twitter as the LP Princess, or as one of the co-hosts of the Zach will call it good Nerds broadcast.
I would call it great.
Some people have called Nerds broadcast great. Zach is one of them.
It's a really good show. It's a lot of fun. You guys have really natural chemistry. So if you want to listen to two people talking who have natural chemistry, that's a perfect show for you.
We try. Episode 75 will come out at some point. It's recorded, but it's like 2.5 hours long.
Whoa, nice.
Love it.
Those are not fun to edit. I just did a 3-hour episode that I edited in a day.
Don't worry, Mike. You get to do this again with this one.
This will be easier. Editing is sometimes it's very different for every episode I do. I have another cat now that's climbing over my keyboard. What is up with you guys? I will feed you after I'm done. God. All right. And Zach.
You can find me on Absolutely the Best Podcast, A Work in Progress, where we have, as of this recording, which is December 21st, 2025, we are fully caught up. Okay, great. Fully caught up on the MCU. We've discussed and ranked every movie in the MCU so far. There's a master list of all. I think it's 37 right now. So no more until the summer. I think there's a new Spider-Man movie coming. And so we've moved on to the Alien and Predator Connected Universe, we're calling it. So we
Very
just
nice.
recorded Alien Resurrection yesterday. So that'll be coming out. That one will come out before this does, but that's what we've been working on. And speaking of Metroid, Bill, we're working on a AVPCU adjacent episode ranking the Metroid games.
Nice.
So,
I will definitely check that out. That'll be a lot of fun.
So just Google Absolutely the Best Podcast, A Work in Progress, and you will find it.
You'll see a link in the show notes.
That
and
too. Probably
next
easier.
year is Metroid's 40th anniversary, too, by the way.
The Japanese release.
Probably Japanese, yeah.
August, I think.
I don't know. I just have a random thing that somebody posted in the group that said 40th anniversaries for games and consoles. And
that was a really helpful infographic there, because I guess if I can keep plugging, I also have been co-hosting the Retro Game Club podcast quite a bit. And I grabbed that picture from your Discord and I was like, hey, Rob, who's like it's his show. It's like, here's a nice cheat sheet for us because we often will cover anniversaries on that.
I don't normally because I never pay attention to when they are. But then I'm going to try now that if I can keep finding little cheat sheets like this. That was beautiful. Someone put this together. Get out of here, kitty. Okay. Normally they're not like this, but like when I don't know. All of a sudden they're just, I have cats all over me right now. Like, feed me, human. We're all
Colby always gets interrupted by cats too.
I do at work a lot. When I'm on Zoom meetings for work, it'll be like no cat, and all of a sudden on a meeting, there's cats every time. People find it hilarious in the meeting. I'm like, here's a cat. Here's another cat. I have 4. So, all right. And if you enjoy, I should go to my plugs. If you enjoyed this episode, over 900 other episodes of this podcast. If you want to hear our other Kubrick work, we only have one. That will be in the show notes. But you can go on Podbean. You can search. We do movies, TV shows, video games, comics. Search it. You never know. We might have covered it. We cover a lot of random things in this episode. There are over 900. So a lot of random shit has happened in those 900 episodes. And a lot more is coming. So check that out. And if you want to be on the show, if you want to suggest things for the show, join our Discord. It's free. We're always having new people in the Discord, chat with us, suggest things that I'll someday get to be on the show. I'm always looking for new voices. So definitely go check that out. And if you want to support the show, we have Patreon, a little dog, and vote in our Patreon poll. We have 1 to 2 polls. I'm going back to 2, at least for January, February for sure. And I'm going to try to do it longer because I like doing 2 polls. And if you donate $10 or more, we'll plug your YouTube or podcast like these lovely people, Phoebe, Stanton, Zach. You already heard their show, so check those out. And I want to start my awesome intro and outro courtesy of Helena at Hell Has Free. You can follow her on TikTok and Instagram. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, YouTube, and rate and reviews for Good Podcast. I think that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you.
Hi.